What's up, you guys? So Cinemacon just ended. Now, if you don't know what Cinemacon is, that is basically where a bunch of studios for big movies just kind of announce like what they're making for movie theaters and like just for other studio like executives just to kind of like promote their movies and stuff. Very big announcements happen at Cinemacon usually every year. This year it's a 4-day panel where each like studio has their own different panels, and I wanted to make a video on it. I should have, the amount of news that we got from this thing this year was insane that I feel like I should have broke it down into 4 separate videos for each day. Especially since some of the stuff that happened on the first day has already been announced, and I feel like it's a little bit of old news, but I want to talk about it regardless. So without further ado, let's get into it. Before I get into anything though, I do want to say that I'm not going to talk about everything. I want to talk about more like the exciting news and stuff that I found really exciting and promising. I might throw in a little stuff that each company did announce, but I'm not going to talk about like everything because this video would be over like 3 hours long then. Okay, so starting off, Sony started their presentation strongly. Sony, I think, won the show here, Sony and Disney, but getting into Sony's news, they had a lot. Sony announced some stuff on 28 Years Later. They showed some footage showing like Ralph Fiennes and announcing basically that they're going to be making sequels to this movie called like the Bone Temple, I think, or Skull Temple. Like 28 Years Later Skull Temple, which is obviously going to be something about this skull like area thing. So I'm excited to see that, and there's going to be like a trilogy, I guess, with this 28 Years Later. They announced that Cillian Murphy is coming back to play his iconic role, but not in this movie, down the line. So that's pretty cool. We also got an announcement for Jumanji 3 or Jumanji 4, depending on how you like to look at it. Because obviously the Robin Williams movie, Jumanji, was the first one. But Jumanji 3 coming out in 2026 in December, so Christmas time there. Very excited for that. The plot is basically the characters from the video game come into the real world, so it won't be like teenagers playing those characters in the video game. It's going to be those characters going into the real world playing themselves. So like we won't see like these adults being played like as teenagers. They're going to be their full characters as like adults, like adventurers. So that's going to be pretty fun to see. We also got some casting updates for the newest Beatles biopic, where Harris Dickinson's going to be playing John Lennon. Paul Mescal is going to be playing Paul McCartney. We got Joseph Quinn as George Harrison, and we got Barry Keoghan as Ringo Starr. I think this is a cool lineup. I know a lot of people were going a little upset about this, saying that they don't look like them. They casted like attractive men for these characters, and I said, guys, number one, that's disrespectful on the Beatles. They were very... girls went crazy over the Beatles back in the day. Like, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, Ringo Starr might not have been the most attractive guy, but I mean, Barry Keoghan isn't either, especially after the whole Sabrina Carpenter thing. I stay with Sabrina Carpenter, okay? But I think they look just like them, honestly. Like, if you put Paul Mescal next to Paul McCartney back in the day, they look identical. Same with Barry Keoghan and Ringo Starr. I'm gonna be honest, I think Joseph Quinn is an out there pick, but I'm not against any of them. I think all these actors are very good in their roles that they play. I know George, or I forget his name, Harris Dickinson, I forget his name, I think that's his name, was very good in Triangle of Sadness. I know he was in the latest Baby Girl movie. He was also in the Iron Claw, so I'm very excited to see that. The crazy thing about this movie is it's going to be 4 movies, all in the perspective of the 4 Beatles, all coming out in the same month of April in 2028. So I understand why it's a long, long wait, because they got to make, essentially, I would assume like a 3-hour movie almost per Beatle member. I can't imagine like it being under 2 hours or a little bit over. I feel like it's going to be like a 2-hour and 40-minute movie per Beatles member. So if you calculate that, that's going to be roughly 12 hours of sitting in theaters to see all these 4 movies in one day. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? We finally got our announcement for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse coming June 4th, 2027. I'm ecstatic. The Cinemacon, they showed some footage. We couldn't see the footage, but we got to see some of these like images from the footage, and It looks great. The Prowler just looks fantastic. The aura in that image is peak. And I heard the animation style is going to be very beyond compared to the Across the Spider-Verse. So I'm very excited for that. And you know what? I'm glad that it's 2027 and not like 2030. It could have been 2030, and I'm glad that it's 2027. Give them time, because this is on potential to be one of the best trilogies. I'm very excited. And we finally got a release date and title for the new Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Brand New Day. I think this logo looks fantastic. This movie's coming out July 31st, 2026. Brand New Day. The logo looks spectacular. It kind of looks like a 2000s logo for Spider-Man. I think this looks like it's one of the best Spider-Man logos that we've seen for Tom Holland. This is going to be taking place right after Doomsday. So my guess on this movie is that it's going to be kind of like an Ant-Man and the Wasp situation, where that's why Spider-Man won't be in Doomsday. He wasn't in the casting list, but we also don't know what the full cast is right now. But my guess is that he's not going to be in that movie. He's going to be doing some street-level crime, kind of like Ant-Man and the Wasp, because no one knows no one knows who Peter Parker is anymore. So I'm assuming that he's going to be doing some street-level crime, and he's going to be fighting bad guys, and then all of a sudden at the end, we're going to see something related to Battle World, which my guess is going to be Toby and Andrew come out of nowhere, and that's going to be the post-credit scene. Very excited, but my guess is that it's going to be an Ant-Man and the Wasp situation. But regardless, I'm very excited. Can't wait. I think it's going to be great. That's all we have from Sony. Moving on to Lionsgate, or should I say the John Wick company, because man, more like 75% of this panel was just John Wick news, and we got to talk about it. First off, everyone at Cinemacon got to see some footage from Ballerina coming out in June, I believe, or May. I think it's June this year. Could be wrong. Either way, I heard that on the description, it looks great. People are saying it looks like John Wick is going to be one of the main characters within the movie, and it's going to be like John Wick's kind of the villain for the Ballerina. So I'm very excited to see how this interaction works between Ana de Armas and Keanu Reeves within the movie. I'm going to be honest, I'm not ecstatic for this movie. I'm a big fan of the first John Wick, and I like the second John Wick, but I haven't seen the third or fourth one. I gotta watch them. I know. And I love the first John Wick movie, but I've only seen the first and second one. So I'm gonna watch all of them before I go into Ballerina. But I'm just like, okay, I don't know. For me, I feel like now it's just getting too much into the John Wick thing. I feel like once you run its course, it's good. But you know what? People love John Wick 4, so I'm going to have to give it a shot. I'm probably going to do a rewatch eventually. And maybe I'll rank them and talk about all my thoughts before seeing Ballerina. You know, John Wick, because, again, this is a John Wick panel after all. We got an animated John Wick movie coming that's going to be rated R in the animation style of Kubo and the Two Strings. Well, it's the same director as Kubo and the Two Strings. We don't know what the animation style is, but I think this is going to be really cool. I'm very excited for it. Keanu Reeves did come out and say, like, he is getting too old to perform all these stunts. Like, he's getting older and older, so I think that going animated is really cool. And obviously, for his age, that's probably why they're doing it animated, I think. But it's also going to be a prequel to the first movie, because it's going to be following the scene where, the legend where he used one pencil and took out, like, 10 men. That's why everyone fears John Wick. I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm really excited for an R-rated animated movie that's going to be an action-packed film. I think that's really cool. Next, we got a confirmation for John Wick 5. So much John Wick! So yeah, that's really cool. I mean, again, I haven't seen John Wick 4 or 3, and I heard what happens in the fourth one is that he dies, so I guess he's not dead. Good to know. Lionsgate also gave us confirmation on the new Hunger Games movie, Sunrise on the Reaping. This is going to follow Woody Harrelson's character, and that's going to be really cool. But from when he was in it, in the 25th quarter, or the first quarter quill, the 25th Hunger Games game, which I am ecstatic. That doesn't sound right. Is it the 25th? It might be the 50th. I forget. It's one of them. It might be the second quarter quill, because I think Yeah, it's got to be the second quarter quill. But either way, I'm ecstatic. I love the Hunger Games franchise. I think that's one of the best franchises out there. And the latest prequel that we got, I think that was the best Hunger Games movie. I gave it a 9 out of 10. You can see my review for it. I'm a very big Hunger Games guy, and I know this book just came out too, so really cool that we're just getting a book and then immediately gonna get a movie. And that's coming out next year, and I can't wait. I think this is gonna be very good, and man, I'm just excited to see who's gonna be playing our younger character within this film, because obviously this is a prequel. And I'm very excited. I think it's going to be fun. And this is also District 12's first winner. So that's going to be really cool to see. Also got our title for Now You See Me 3 called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I still think they should have done that for a second one. Don't know why they didn't. But it's coming out November 14th. And actually, Lionsgate is so confident in this movie, they're making a fourth one. If you like this franchise, good, cool. I've only seen the first movie, and that was when I was like 10. So I got, not even 10. I forgot when this movie even came out. I was probably like 13. I forget. It was when it first came out, and I was just like, okay. But also I was really young, so I don't even know it. But I haven't seen Now You See Me 2. I'm not really a huge fan of this franchise, but I'll get into it. I'll watch it. But yeah, that's really all I got for Lionsgate. There was no news for Saw, the Saw franchise. Which was pretty crazy, but yeah, moving on. Moving on to Warner Brothers, pretty wild panel, if I say. First story I want to talk about is we got some looks into Mortal Kombat 2 with Scorpion saying, "Get over here," he's holding his chains. I'm very excited for this movie. Now again, if you guys don't know, if you don't remember me saying this, I never played the Mortal Kombat games that much. I may have played them like here and there with my friends and family, but I never owned them. I know some of the characters, but not a ton, like Johnny Cage I know Scorpion, I know Sub-Zero. My gosh, I'm so sorry. And like Katana, I think that's a girl's name. I forget. But those are really all I know. I don't really know anyone else. Like, I really want to get into it, but I really liked the first Mortal Kombat movie. I know a lot of people didn't, and that's because of a lot of fans. But again, not knowing really anything about this franchise or video game franchise, I was a big fan of it. I was like, wow, that's really cool, and it made me want to play the game, so I played some here and there. But I can't wait for this Mortal Kombat 2. I'm ecstatic. We also got some footage. We didn't get them, but at Cinemacon, they released some footage for Final Destination Bloodlines. And some of the descriptions that those characters were saying were wild, trying to basically break up the curse, which involved like eating a peanut with someone with a peanut allergy who would technically die and then bring them back to life. Would that end the curse because they're technically dead but they're alive? Lots of wild stuff going on in this movie, and I can't wait to see it, can't wait to talk about it. Warner Brothers also announced some animated projects, a Flintstones movie, Tom and Jerry movie, and a Looney Tunes movie. Warner Brothers got to be the most hypocritical, like, backwards companies I've ever seen, because they just sold Coyote vs. Acme, which I'm so grateful to Ketchup Studios. Ketchup, you are my savior. Because I saw The Day the Earth Blew Up. I don't think I've ever reviewed it, but I enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see Coyote vs. Acme. Both Looney Tunes projects. Warner Brothers sold them because they were putting them out for tax purposes, and then they also closed down the animated lot where like where Looney Tunes was being made for like years. And now they're saying, "Oh, but guess what? We're making one." Probably just to sell it for tax purposes again. So I'm not getting too excited for those. I mean, I am very excited for them. I'm very excited for a Flintstones movie. I can't wait if they actually make that. But that's even if they do make it, because I don't know if they will. Cinemacon also got some test footage for The Conjuring and this movie called The Bride. The Conjuring comes out September 5th. It follows their last like adventure, because the main two characters did live. They were real people, and I guess, I don't know. I don't get into that spooky stuff. I've only seen Conjuring 1, and I've seen both of the Nun movies. And I don't like the Nun movies, I'm going to be honest. But I did like the first Conjuring movie, so I'm going to try to watch all the Conjurings and the whole universe before getting to this. I got to catch up on a lot of stuff. I thought I've seen a lot of movies, but turns out I haven't. So I got to watch all these movies before seeing all of them. But We also got our first looks at The Bride. Well, we didn't, but the people at Cinemacon did. But here's the description: it's kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde situation, which I'm very excited for. Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing this, and it's gonna star what's his name? It's gonna star Christian Bale as Frankenstein. I think this is gonna be great. It kind of reminds me of Joker and Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. I don't know. I think this could be either a very good movie or a very bad movie. Depends. I really like Lisa Frankenstein. Not that I think this will be anything like Lisa Frankenstein, but who knows? People also got to see the first 10 minutes of F1, the new racing movie starring Brad Pitt by the director who made Top Gun Maverick. I'm very excited for F1. Now, I didn't love Top Gun Maverick as much as other people, but I still enjoyed it. So I'm very excited for F1. This is one of the most expensive movies ever made, I believe. And to the point that even Tom Cruise, when presenting for the Paramount projects, I believe, it might have been Paramount. When he was presenting for the Paramount projects, he was talking about how much he's raving about F1, which is a Warner Brothers movie. Very funny, very cool. But either way, I'm very excited. People are saying that the race scenes are electric, and that's even in the first 10 minutes. So I'm very excited. I can't wait. Now, getting into some Superman news. The Superman news was very weird. Apparently, all the cast for Superman and James Gunn came up and was kind of just discussing the same stuff that we already knew about Crypto the dog, yada, yada, yada. And they showed sneak peek footage, which we actually got to see. I'm not going to do a breakdown of the footage because it's pretty much the same thing that we got to see in the trailer, just longer. It's Crypto the dog going on to Superman, tackling him, kind of being like a dog, which I think is very funny. I was not prepared for how, funny they were trying to go. I thought this was going to be more of a serious moment or heartwarming where it was Crypto saving Superman. No, Crypto's crashing onto Superman, beating him up like a dog would, which my dog does all the time. That's really it for Superman news. Everything else they were talking about, it was a 5-minute thing, and everyone was saying this is awkward. When's this going to end? It was a rough day for Superman. So I don't know. Hopefully that doesn't give too bad vibes for the actual Superman movie. I'm still very excited for Superman. It's still my most anticipated movie of the year. I also got to see the first kind of looks at the animated DCU movie Dynamic Duo, which is going to follow two Robins within the Batman universe, and it's going to be the animation style of the Iron Giant, I believe, or Coraline, something like that, where it's puppetry. I love that type of animation style. I'm very excited. Going into Universal news, we got our first looks and reactions to How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action remake. A lot of people saying it's very good. They liked it, and Universal is so confident in this movie. They are already making How to Train Your Dragon 2 coming out in 2027. I'm very excited. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that they want the How to Train Your Dragon 2 movie to kind of be different from the second movie, from the animated lineup. I disagree with that. I think that they should have it the same, change a little bit of it, because that How to Train Your Dragon franchise animated is great. People attending CinemaCon also got their first footage looks at Jurassic World Rebirth, a movie I can't wait for. I've been rewatching all the Jurassic Park movies, and apparently there is a scene that they got to see where it was a T-Rex going into the river chasing a bunch of people on a boat, which is a scene from the actual novel from the first Jurassic Park book. I can't wait. I think this is going to be great. I have full trust in Gareth Edwards. I'm very excited for this movie, and I'm so excited. I'm going to do a whole Jurassic Park video of my favorite movies and stuff like that. So, yeah. I'm very excited. We also got our first looks at this movie called Him, which is going to be produced by Jordan Peele, which is a horror movie that's going to be a football sports movie that's horror. I don't think there's ever been a sports horror movie, and I'm very excited. It's also going to be following one of the Wayans brothers as one of the main characters. So I think this is going to be very good, and it kind of reminds me of Whiplash, but if it was scary, this could be peak. And Jordan Peele's attached to it. This could be the best horror movie. I think this is coming out next year, I want to say, but I'm not confident in that, but very excited. We also got some talks into the new movie UFO coming out next year, the new Steven Spielberg movie, which is going to have a crazy lineup of casting. And it's said to be the same style of his old works like E.T., Encounters of the Third Kind. Very cool. And I love Steven Spielberg, and I miss those Steven Spielberg summer blockbusters. So this is very exciting to hear. Before we get into all the Blumhouse news, I want to talk about Wicked 2. We got Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande coming on stage talking about the movie. And people at Cinemacon got to see the trailer for the second movie, Wicked for Good. There's apparently a bunch of songs in this because obviously it's a musical. I was a massive fan of the Wicked movie, so I can't wait to see Wicked 2. I wish we got to see some stuff from the Wicked for Good trailer, but unfortunately we didn't, but that's okay. But that's really cool. Exciting stuff. I can't wait to see that movie in November this year. Now getting into some Blumhouse news. Jason Blum came out dressed as Golden Freddy, which I thought was very funny. And basically showed the audience the first trailer for Fnaf 2, which we actually got to see. I think this looks great. As you know, I'm not really a massive fan of the first Fnaf movie. I really like the games. I enjoyed the games so much growing up. I thought the first movie was just okay. I thought the budget wasn't that great. I thought the looks were okay, but the plot was just messy. But this looks very scary. This looks like it's going into the horror route, and I think that budget's double the size. But I'm very excited for this. Mangle looks fantastic, looks terrifying. I think this is going to be great. Also, when we got some news on Black Phone 2, which is supposedly going to be like a Nightmare on Elm Street situation, because if you haven't seen Black Phone, obviously, Kevin Bacon's character dies in the end of it, and all of a sudden, we got some talks that Kevin Bacon is now alive, but spiritually, and as like a ghost, because he died in that room where all the people can call on the phone. That Black Phone's very good. Highly recommend it. But now it's going to be where this guy's haunting him, coming back as a ghost, but bad. Basically like Freddy Krueger. I can't wait. I think that sounds fantastic. And, you know, Blumhouse might have found their new Freddy Krueger if they go with this route. That is when we get to the iconic baddie of the world, Megan 2. I just rewatched Megan the other day because we went to go see, me and my girlfriend went to go see Woman in the Yard, and Megan 2's trailer came on. And so she was like, I never actually seen Megan. I said, you're going to see it tonight. So we watched it. I forgot how funny that movie is. And Cinemacon got to see a trailer, which also released. And man, when I tell you what I witnessed in that trailer, I can't. This might be peak. Megan is basically trapped in like an Alexa, because obviously she tries to kill everyone, and it's basically like Terminator 2, but stupid, funny, and unironically, I am very excited, and I think this is going to be one of the better Blumhouse movies. Realistically though, it's probably going to be really bad, but I have high expectations. I think this looks fantastic, and just the line delivery, even if it's terrible, I think it's going to be so bad that it's really funny. Getting into the last panel of Cinemacon, Disney, which one story before we get into the panel, an article came out right before that I saw a notification that I was just like, wow. Right before the Disney panel happened, that Tangled, the live-action Tangled remake that was in plans to happen, got canceled indefinitely or like pushed back indefinitely. My guess is this is because of the Snow White, like, remake. Basically people like saying how bad it is. It's the lowest rated movie on, I think, IMDb. I could be wrong about that, but crazy. I was really excited for Tangled because Tangled is one of my favorite Disney movies. But honestly, I feel like Lilo and Stitch will be good. Or I really think, what I'm guessing is, with Lilo and Stitch, they're really gonna push for like Hercules. That's what I'm hoping for. But who knows, maybe they just might stop doing Disney remakes. But with this news, what do you think of that? Do you think they're going to stop Disney remakes? Who knows? One of the first things Disney showed us is that they also got to see Lilo and Stitch, some footage for that, which was just a quick thing from the trailer, which was Stitch holding the soda gun, basically messing around, which was in the trailer, but longer pretty much, which I'm very excited for. Can't wait for this movie. And we got a poster, which I think this is the best poster for the Lilo and Stitch movie so far. It looks really good, and I really hope that that's the poster that they use for the movies. I can't wait for this movie, man. I think this is going to be so fun, and this is easily being one of my most anticipated movies for the year. Looks really cool. That's what we got for Lilo and Stitch. Moving on to Zootopia 2, we got some announcements. Kyu Kwan was on stage and talking about Zootopia 2 and how this movie's going to follow reptiles being banned from Zootopia. What's really interesting is one of the scenes that they got to see in Cinemacon was Judy Hopps and Nick basically being at couples therapy together, which I thought was pretty crazy for a Disney movie. But you know what? Disney's done wilder and crazier. So yeah, you know what? It's cool. I was just surprised that they went that route, but hey, it is a fox and a bunny relationship. I mean, there are bound to be problems. We also got our first looks at the Bruce Springsteen movie, which is going to follow Jeremy Allen White playing Bruce Springsteen. That looks really cool. Nothing really to say. We just got an image of what he looks like. I'm not the biggest Bruce Springsteen song, unless Born in the USA, if that's even what it was. It's the only really Bruce Springsteen song I know, or Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's it. Christmas time and 4th of July. Bruce Springsteen's on the radio. Also got some looks at Tron 3. Now, if you guys don't know, Tron is one of my favorites. I love Tron. I have a Tron costume literally sitting in my closet right now, which I will wear when Tron 3 comes out. I love the Tron ride at Disney World. Tron 1, even though how outdated it is, I really love it. And I love that Tron 2011, mainly because of Draft Punk. Tron Ares. They got to see some test footage. A lot of people are saying it looks good. It's basically, I don't know. I just can't follow where it's basically Tron coming into the real world. Still don't know how that is. And the fact that it's Jared Leto. I hate Jared Leto so much. But man, I just hope I hope they deliver. I really do. I need a good Tron movie. And Evan Peters being the villain really gives me hope. And from what I hear is that it's going to be the same people who composed the score for Challengers. So hopefully that will be great. If it's the Challengers score in this, I'm good, because Draft Punk isn't a band anymore. So who knows? Before we get to Marvel, I want to talk about Avatar. Avatar Fire and Ash. We got our first new logo. I can't wait for Avatar 3. Avatar is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Avatar so much. I think it's great. And everyone was hating on Avatar. And then Avatar The Way of Water came out. And everyone was like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I was like, I knew it was good. I was there since day one, bro. We got wind people, and the Wind Navi, I guess, Wind Tribe, and the Ash Tribe. So basically, we're following Avatar: The Last Airbender, but more of the fact of, like, blue people. James Cameron, you have my support. I love Avatar. I do. Now getting into Marvel news, Kevin Feige just said some things about Doomsday, which I thought was really interesting, about basically saying, confirming that the seats we saw, that was only like half the cast. We don't have the full cast yet. Either they're keeping that secret, or whether they're just going to announce it later on. Who knows? But he also did confirm that it's going to be following the original X-Men, so like the 2000s X-Men that we all grew up with, the Avengers, the Wakandans, and the Fantastic Four all going against Doctor Doom. I think that's really cool. I'm very excited. I can't wait. That's only for Avengers Doomsday. So Secret Wars, we still can get like the new X-Men characters, the X-Men characters from like the 2010s era. Who knows? I can't wait. I'm very excited, like so much for Doomsday. I also got some footage for Fantastic Four coming out in July, which I will be seeing down there in Florida in the AMC in Orlando in Disney World. Can't wait for that. But they got to see some footage for Fantastic Four, and we got confirmation that Sue Storm is pregnant in the movie, which we kind of all figured, we all knew. Then it's going to be, they also got to see the first looks of Silver Surfer, who's going to be played by the wife in Wolfman, if you didn't know. I think that's interesting. I guess it's cool. Hey, like, I don't care. It's just, I don't think you can ever top what they did in the 2000s movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is one of my favorite characters of all time from Marvel. So, I'm very nitpicky when it comes to Silver Surfer, but I'm not gonna criticize it. I think it's cool. Especially like if it's just a woman. If they have everything else good, then sure, it's a great Silver Surfer. But I don't know. I really got to see it in person first to make sure to see it. Especially when we get the trailer, I think that's when I'll be able to be like, all right, that's really cool. But I can't wait for this movie so much. They also said that Silver Surfer's coming down saying, hey, your planet's been selected to be eaten by Galactus. We see a figure of Galactus in the shadows in like the sky. That's really cool to see, really scary. And then everyone's asking like Reed Richards, are we okay? Are we safe? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I genuinely don't know. And then they're trying to like calm down this city. I think this more predicts what everyone's thinking, that they're gonna all die. The Earth is gonna be eaten by Galactus, and then that Fantastic Four is gonna go into this Earth 616. Come on, Fantastic Four. I think that's the easy guess, but yeah. So that was everything that I found really big and informative for Cinemacon. What are your guys' thoughts? What did you think was the best news update? I thought Disney and Sony brought in some heaters this year. Paramount, not really so much, but who knows? What did you guys think? If you guys like this video, make sure you like it. If you really like it, make sure you subscribe. And if you want to see future videos like this, make sure you ring that bell in the description down below. With all that being said, thanks so much for watching. This is out. Peace.